Phoenix Rising by Rob Harper and Jack Fike. Episode 7.
I awake. It's pitch dark. My head throbs in time with Nyarlathotep's engines. No, not the engines. Screams, which sound like tortured souls. I try to move, but my arms are strained. I stumble up as best I can. I hunch with the restraints. The walls are of soft fabric. My eyes adjust a bit, and I make out a door. I slam into it. It's solid and bolted. Through a small slit I can see a dimly lit hallway. Another door across from mine. Some sort of cell? Have I been captured by the Phoenix? The last thing I remember was on the bridge of the Nyarlathotep. Then, nothing. My crew. Are they being held here too? Are they even alive? My thoughts are interrupted by the sounds of footsteps coming down the hall. I strain to see who's coming, but cannot. Suddenly the slit is blocked by a figure, and I jerk back. I hear the door lock turned, and the door opens. I'm blinded by the new light from the passage, and before I can even move, two strong sets of hands grab me and pull me back to the bed I woke up on. Who? The words catch in my throat as another person enters the cell with an old-style lantern. Where am I? The person is the ambassador. At least it looks like her, but she's wearing an ancient nurse's uniform. I struggle, but now with the light I can see I'm in a straitjacket, like they used to have in the ancient times. Calm down, Mr. Arkham, she says in her French accent. She has no name tag. I do not know her name. The orderlies on either side of my bed, however, I do recognize. For an instant I think they're my friends. No, enemies. I read their name tags. Marsh is older and mean-looking. Armitage looks tough, but not cruel. Another person is silhouetted in the doorway. The large figure is also familiar somehow. He steps forward, and I know I must be in a dream. Father?
At least you remember me, my boy.
No, this can't be. You're back on Earth. You can't be on the Phoenix. The head nurse looks at my father confused. What is he talking about, Doctor? She asks.
So sad, my poor boy. Nurse, he is taken with melancholia. He believes this world is not real, and that he is actually somewhere else.
Yes, I'm the captain of the Nyarlathotep. Tell them, Armitage, tell them. The orderly called Armitage just looks at me, and then at my father. He thinks he's the captain of a sailing ship? How strange, the nurse says without sympathy.
No, nurse, not a sailing ship. He is much farther gone than that. Please, John, try to remember. You had a spell. You've been here in my asylum for 5 years. It is rare he is lucid, you understand.
I see, said the nurse, looking at me like a specimen in a jar. What ship does he think he is the captain of then, Dr. Arkham? She asks. She smiles cruelly at me, but I answer before my father can. I'm now the captain of the deep space vessel, the Nyarlathotep. We were sent to find you in your ship, the Phoenix, before heading to Aldebaran to set up a colony. Aldebaran, the far-off star? You think you travel to another star? She is mocking me now. My father steps in.
Now, nurse, he is sick. We cannot allow him to persist in these delusions. You know they are delusions, don't you, John?
My head pounds. I know this isn't real, but it feels real. No, I'm not here. I'm not. The nurse steps up and injects me with something from a needle-like device. Syringe. I can't think. The face of my father comes close.
It's okay, my boy. We'll help you get better. Sleep now. Sleep.
I awake in the room that has become my cell. It always seems to be night, but maybe that is just when I regain a little of my consciousness. How long have I been here? I cannot tell. It seems to be always now. I suddenly realize I'm not alone in the padded room. Standing nearby is the ambassador. No, I mean the head nurse. With her are the same orderlies I have always seen. The one called Armitage looks at me with sad eyes. Both have truncheons at the ready. I jerk my head back to the nurse. Your father thinks he can persuade you to get better with words, she says coolly. We know this isn't true, don't we, John? I don't speak. I try to focus. I try, as always, to wake up. But I am awake. The nurse smiles her cruel smile. Now, John, what was your occupation before you came here? Try and remember. I don't want to answer. But her smile mocks me. I feel the rage build in me. I am the captain of the Nyarlathotep, and your tricks are not going to... The air is slammed out of me as the orderly named Marsh swings his truncheon into my solar plexus. I try to catch my breath, but it takes a few moments. "That is not true," the nurse says. "You know it isn't true, John. You were a bookkeeper, remember? A simple bookkeeper." I say nothing, and she goes on. "Do you remember your wife? You know the woman you love? Do you remember her at least?" Dyer's face flashes before my eyes. A single tear runs down my cheek. "I'm not married." Once again, a truncheon is swung. This time it connects from my left to the middle of my back. I can tell it wasn't swung full force. I look to the one called Armitage. My friend. No, just an orderly. He looks back and whispers for me just to tell her what she wants to hear. "But you remember your father, don't you, John? Dr. Arkham is very pleased with your progress," she says. "You wouldn't want to disappoint him, would you?" "My father is not a doctor, at least not psychology. He's a physicist. Once again, Marsh swings the bat full force and connects with my shoulder. I think I feel something break. The straitjacket that keeps me hunched restricts me so I can't even defend myself, and I hunch over even more. "Your father is a great doctor." The head nurse is getting flustered. I take a little joy in this through my pain. "Hit him again," she says. But before she can, there's another person at the door to my cell. Not my father. Not someone I recognize. Someone new. The first new face I've seen since waking up in this nightmare. "The doctor would like to see you, ma'am," the figure says. He seems to be a janitor. He carries a mop at least. He is not large nor small. He is exactly average. I cannot make out any definite features, though. My pain. No, there's something more. I can just see his azure blue eyes. He's gone in an instant, and the nurse has the orderlies throw me back in bed. I pass out quickly from the pain, with the janitor's eyes blazing in my skull. I once more wake up and stretch my weary arms. My shoulder screams in pain. Wait, I can stretch. I open my eyes and feel the straitjacket is undone. I try and stand, but I find I still cannot stand up straight. Then I notice the crack of light coming from my room door. It is slightly ajar. I hobble over to find the door unbolted, and for the first time I find myself outside of the padded room. The light from the oil lamps is harsher in the passage. My eyes sting, but my thoughts are only of escape. But to where? I know not what is outside these walls. I cannot remember coming here, but I will find out. I start down the passage past more cells with screaming occupants. Poor souls trapped here are indeed like Dante's hell. Maybe I can find my wife. Maybe she can... No, I don't have a wife, do I? It's all so unclear. First I must escape. I know he's further along. The orderly's making rounds. I cannot let them find me. I open the quiet cell next to me and wait for them to pass. The room is lighted by a small lamp, and as I turn to look at it, I see I'm not alone. Dirty and cowering, with her head tucked into the corner of the room, is a woman. She is silent. I don't even hear her breathe. She seems familiar. Not my wife. The one I love. No wife. Dyer? Oh God, Dyer, you're alive? I rush to Dyer. I must get her out too. I reach out and grab her shoulder. She'll recognize me. We must escape the asylum. She turns, and it's her. It's Dyer. But her face, she looks... It looks like before. It's the look she gave to the camera before. She opens her lips to speak, but no sound emerges. She mouths the words, "Have you read The King in Yellow?" I stumble back away from her. She screams, but no sound comes out. I run out of the room. I am in hell. In my mad dash out of the room, I stumble directly into the orderlies Armitage and Marsh. They grab me, and I do little to resist. How can one resist hell? They start to pull me back to my room. It's at least safe in my room. I relax and let them drag me. Suddenly, the janitor is there. He seems more real this time somehow. The orderlies look at him annoyed, but before they can push past, he strikes them both like lightning with his mop handle. The two men drop simultaneously. The janitor's face comes into focus, and I look deep into his azure eyes. He speaks in a calm tone. "Listen to me, Captain. This is all just a drug-induced dream. You are on the bridge in Nyarlathotep. Focus on that. Know who you are. Focus," he says. "Who are you? I don't recognize you." He hesitates before answering. "My name is Carter. I've been here the whole time. I'm going to be here as long as it takes. Time to take your medicine." He puts a pill in my hand. I look at it. "Take it, Arkham." Take it now. We don't have much time. I feel safe around Carter for some unknown reason. I shut my eyes and put the pill in my mouth and swallow. I open my eyes and the janitor is gone. Instead, I see my father and the head nurse round the corner, a little ways down the passage. They rush towards me. I don't run. I don't panic. For the first time since I awoke in this nightmare, I feel like myself again. I stand up straight for the first time in this place and say to the two people, I am John Arkham, captain of the Nyarlathotep. My father looks at me with saddened eyes.
We've been over this, John. There's no such thing as spacecraft.
I say again, I am John Arkham, captain of the Nyarlathotep. The nurse comes at me with a syringe. I swat it away. No more drugs. I have awoken. I push the ambassador hard against the wall, and cracks appear in her skin like a broken doll.
Now, John, that isn't very gentlemanly. Stop this instant.
My so-called father shouts at me. I lock eyes with him and reach down to pick up one of the orderly's truncheons. Fear shows in the imposter's face. I don't break eye contact with him as I swing the truncheon hard at the ambassador. The bat connects and she shatters into 1,000 pieces. I am John Arkham, captain of the Nyarlathotep, and you are not my father. I raise the truncheon to crush the apparition pretending to be my father's skull, and suddenly I am somewhere else. I jerk awake and see my crewmen around me. I am standing like in a daze, with my arm raised above my head. They jump back as they see my wild eyes. I'm disoriented. I half see the bridge of the Nyarlathotep and half see the asylum. My hand is still raised as to crush his skull, but there's nothing in it. I see the janitor. No, not the janitor, a crewman of the Nyarlathotep, but his eyes, his azure eyes. I calm down and Armitage rushes to steady me. They tell me I was drugged by some Phoenix plot. They don't know how the drug was neutralized in my system. I remember the janitor. I remember Carter. Who is Carter? Later I tell Armitage about the dream. I don't know who the man in my dream was, but I do know for a second I thought I saw him next to me when I woke up. Armitage doesn't know who I'm talking about. I don't push the subject. My mental health isn't what it once was. I also don't tell Armitage that sometimes at night I hear the screams of the other inmates. It makes me wonder if I did wake up, or fall back asleep.
Tune in for the next episode.
So, guy over there, you look like you can use some entertainment.
I am a bit down lately. I haven't had my fix of variety show radio podcasts lately.
Well, then I have something for you.
A quick, merciful death, so I can be in the embracing bosom of cold, cold hell?
No. Something even better.
Even better?
Vinland Old Time Radio. It's found at vinlandoldtimeradio.podbean.com.
You may have just saved this life.
Wait till you hear it. You might change your mind. Bringing old-time radio to the 21st century.
We're funnier than cancer.
We are indeed.